A very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on BeeTv News Update at 3. My name is Harmony Agbafor and now to the news in details. The Tin Can Island Port Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has recorded another major success in its enforcement operations, intercepting 2 containers loaded with motor vehicles that were used to conceal large quantities of illicit drugs. According to the command, the operation highlights its unwavering commitment to safeguarding Nigeria's borders and maintaining global trade standards. The report.
At the headquarters of the Tin Can Island Port Command in Lagos, the Customs Area Controller Francis Ona briefed journalists on the command's latest seizure. 2 containers arriving from overseas, each hiding narcotic substances, cleverly concealed within imported vehicles. The first container, according to the controller, originated from Montreal, Canada, and was intercepted following meticulous intelligence and coordinated enforcement efforts. The second container was tracked down after actionable intelligence shared directly under his directive led to this discovery.
Upon physical examination, which was jointly conducted by officers and men of our command and relevant government agencies, the container was found to contain 4 vehicles which had concealed quantities of illicit drugs as detailed below. 156 packages of Colorado Intiga, a strain of cannabis weighing 78 kilograms, and 1.2 kilograms of hashish oil. The total street value of these illicit drugs recovered from both 6 containers is over 5.3 billion naira.
Controller Onyeka also used the opportunity to warn importers and exporters against false declaration and other trade infractions, emphasizing that the service will continue to deploy intelligence-driven strategies to strengthen national security and trade facilitations.
We urge all legitimate traders to adhere strictly to trade regulations and make honest declarations in their imports and export documentation. We will stop at nothing to make sure that this place becomes very hot as possible for those of us who have decided not to play by the rules.
In keeping this interagency collaborative framework, the seized narcotics were handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for further investigation. Favour Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The federal government has partnered with international research institutions to promote data-driven farming as part of efforts to achieve food sovereignty. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security announced its collaboration with the International Soil Reference and Information Center and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture to strengthen Nigeria's soil information system. The report.
This is a workshop on Nigeria's soil information system development organized by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in partnership with the IITA Fertilizer and Soil Hub and the International Soil Reference and Information Center. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, says the initiative will provide farmers with scientific data to match crops with soil types, optimize fertilizer use, and reduce production costs. Senator Abdullahi emphasizes that soil remains the foundation of agriculture, adding that Nigeria must take ownership of the soil data to guarantee national food security and sovereignty.
They plant whatever they want to plant based on what they feel and think is, good for that soil. But with this scheme, it will enable us to have results that experts will be able to tell the farmer, for the soil in that farm, this is the kind of crop you should be farming.
He explains that the plan includes establishing soil testing laboratories in all 774 local government areas to provide farmers with timely soil health information and encourage private investment in fertilizer production. According to him, the approach will guide farmers on suitable crops and fertilizer blends, leading to higher yields, improved efficiency across the agricultural value chain, and serving as a foundation for precision agriculture in Nigeria. Partners have pledged support for Nigeria with technology and expertise.
So one of the things the hub will do is making sure that we can work with all the colleagues and transfer some of those new ways of doing business to the universities and the national agriculture systems in Nigeria.
Nigeria is a big country and with a diverse agricultural zone also, so we try to also support the national partner in strengthening their soil information system.
The minister urged investors to explore the opportunities available, noting that Nigeria has about 73 million hectares of arable land, with only about 34 million currently under cultivation. Harmony Agbafo, reporting for BeeTv News. This is a workshop on Nigeria news. This
Presidential Bola Tinubu has held his first meeting with the newly appointed service chiefs at the presidential villa. The new military chiefs arrived at the forecourt of the villa around 4 p.m., led by the new Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede. The meeting follows the president's sweeping changes in the military's hierarchy announced on Friday, October 24. According to the official statement confirming the shakeup, President Bola Tinubu explained that the decision was part of the federal government's ongoing effort to strengthen Nigeria's national security architecture. He appointed General Olufemi Oluyede as the new Chief of Defense Staff, replacing General Christopher Musa, Major General Waheed Shaibu, and was named the new Chief of Army Staff, while Air Vice Marshal was appointed Chief of Air Staff and Rear Admiral became the new Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence Major General AAP Undianideye retained his position. President Tinubu charged the newly appointed service chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them by further enhancing the professionalism, vigilance, and comradeship that define the Nigerian Armed Forces. Former chairman of the Independent National
The integrity of Nigerian election has continued to be an evolving conversation, especially as another general election beckons. Nigeria more often than not record low citizen participation in the electoral process, citing the credibility of the poll as a critical factor. In his convocation lecture, Atahiru Jaga underscores the need for integrity in the nation's electoral processes and canvass the true independence of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state and the judiciary as the last hope of the common man.
Periodic review of electoral legal framework, particularly the Electoral Act, and as necessary the Constitution, are fundamental requirements for electoral integrity. And usually this should be done within the electoral cycle and in good time before the elections.
The National Assembly promises to continue its drive for improved electoral processes through amendments and repeal where necessary, and one that represents confidence in the citizen.
The challenges we face as a nation, be it in governance, economic development, or social justice, require innovative solutions and informed decision making.
We will continue to do our part to strengthen existing legal frameworks and enhance our oversight responsibilities of public institutions to ensure that they deliver effective public service.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and the University of Benin. The collaboration has produced a transformation in all fields of human endeavors. High points of the ceremony is the recognition award of excellence on deserving graduates. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Thousands of Nigerians took to the streets of the Abuja for the 11th edition of the Medicaid Cancer Awareness Walk. The annual events brought together survivors, health workers, policymakers and advocates for a 5-kilometer walk aimed at promoting early detection, encouraging regular screening and strengthening support for cancer patients across the country. This year's theme, One Walk, One Fight, One Mission, underscores the shared responsibility of all stakeholders in confronting the growing burden of cancer and promoting collective action towards prevention, early detection and improved care.
More opportunities, we need to have more resources thrown towards this disease and diagnose it earlier so that our people can live longer.
All a statement that the message is resonating, that we can mobilize, we can change lives, including ours, by acts of coming out, exercise.
Cancer is a reality, and then cancer is not a death sentence. It is also both preventive and curative if detected early. So this is creating awareness.
The Zamfara state government has indicated that it will allocate over 2 billion naira in its 2026 budget to tackle malnutrition, particularly amongst women and children. It further states that more than 20,000 women across the state have each received a one-off cash transfer of 50,000 naira under a program aimed at addressing malnutrition, and that nearly 4,000 women have benefited from a monthly stipend of 15,000 naira for 2 years. The report.
Malnutrition in children can lead to stunted growth, impaired cognitive development, and weakened immune systems. For women, it increases risk during pregnancy, raises mortality probability, and reduces capacity to perform daily tasks. That is why the National Office for the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Health is collaborating with the Zamfara State government on the so-called Nutrition 774 initiative, a key part of federal effort to combat malnutrition nationwide. Upon inaugurating the Zamfara State Council on Nutrition, Governor Daudu Lawal said his administration is committing substantial funds to this fight.
The challenge of nutrition is one we understand intimately. It is not just a health crisis, rather it is an economic barrier and a profound threat to our human capital development. We cannot build a secure, resilient, and prosperous Zamfara on a foundation of poor nutrition. And this is why Nutrition 774 initiative is not just timely, but absolutely essential.
20 to 25,000 women getting those cash transfers of over 50,000 naira. And then under the LIPW, under the CSDA, there are over 3,000 to 4,000 that have gotten 15,000 naira stipends for this 2 years. In the 2026 budget also, you have asked us to put in about 2 billion plus so that we will be able to fight this.
Leading the federal delegation to Zamfara was Uju Anwuka, the Senior Special Assistant on Public Health to the President. The delegation expressed support for strengthening the partnership under the Nutrition 774 initiative and praised the governor's giant strides in transforming the state health sector and restoring its lost glory.
Something that is a continuous fight we want to speed up that fight of tackling the issue of malnutrition. But how do we do this? Is by working together. So we're hoping that we start to see results in the first quarter, second quarter of next year. And this takes an all of government, all of society approach.
The federal government's delegation also commended the giant strides of Governor Lawal in transforming the health sector and restoring the lost glory of Zamfara State. Evelyn Izibile reporting for BeeTv News.
Katsina State is strengthening its collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development to advance a comprehensive livestock initiative aimed at boosting incomes, creating jobs, and expanding export opportunities. Governor Diko Umaru Rada recently visited the ministry in Abuja to unveil new investments and seek federal partnership. The report.
Katsina has become the 18th state to establish a Ministry of Livestock Development, aligning with the federal government's renewed hope agenda to grow the sector for increased revenue and employment opportunities. As one of the leading states in livestock farming and home to the largest livestock market in West Africa, Governor Diko Umaru Rada revealed that his administration has invested over 8.2 billion naira in the agriculture sector, including about 5.7 billion naira in a goat rearing scheme empowering women across the state.
The meat processing plant, we have gone into an advanced stage, and our idea is to be exporting halal meat to Middle East. We have started talking to a lot of companies. We have entered into PPP. We have done the feasibility study. We have done the design. We have done the costing. Ours is to give out the contract very soon.
But I do know that Katsina has a lot of comparative advantages because of the location, because of the size of the livestock sector, and most importantly because of the political commitment of the governor to change the narrative. We don't want to make any wrong step, because it is very, very important that we are all on the same page. We talk to the certification bodies, they give us the specifications, and we will make sure that we are on the right trajectory.
The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mokhtar Maiha, noted that legislation by state governments mandating school children to consume eggs, sausage, and milk daily would catalyze agricultural investment and improve nutrition nationwide. He also emphasized the need to revive grazing reserves in Katsina State, particularly the Dangarai Reserve, spanning 123,000 hectares, which he says could be converted into modern ranches with artificial insemination and dairy operations.
Grazing reserve is being taken over in some location by the bandits, but we are now having a lot of improvements in the security situation, and having that will make sure that we reclaim the land, and also try to encourage farmers and the livestock breeders, including the planners, to occupy the space and create various ranches through public-private partnership.
Both the governor and the minister reaffirmed their commitment to work together to unlock their full potential of Nigeria's livestock sector. Evelyn Izibile reporting for BeeTv News.
And now moving on to business news. Unicode Africa, a newly launched Pan-African cloud service provider, on Monday announced its entry into the continent's fast-growing $5 billion cloud computing market, pledging to keep African data within Africa and reduce reliance on offshore data centers. Let's join BeeTv News' Temitope Oluwafemi for more details on this and more from the business world.
This model means that a significant portion of African data, including financial records, government information, and private user data, resides on servers in Europe, North America, or Asia. While these global platforms offer scale and reliability, they also create dependencies that expose African nations to foreign jurisdiction, data privacy risk, and high operational costs tied to foreign exchange fluctuations. Nigeria's energy sector stakeholders will this week confront one of the sector's biggest challenges, which is closing the $34.5 billion funding gap needed to achieve universal electricity access by 2030, as stakeholders gather in Lagos for Nigeria Energy 2025. The three-day conference, which opens today at the landmark event center, Lekki, Lagos, will bring together government officials, regulators, investors, and innovators under the team powering Nigeria through investment, innovation, and partnership. From multiple continents, reinforcing FITC's growing global reputation for thought leadership in financial innovation and technology governance. According to country manager of Shelf Global Limited, Walid Bou Absi, the conference created an idea platform for stakeholders to engage on the future of cybersecurity. Group Chief Information Security Officer of First Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Harrison Naji, commended FITC for its consistency in leading the national cybersecurity dialogue. Newly sworn-in President of the African Export-Import Bank, Dr. George Elobi, has expressed reservation about the concessional lending to African countries, warning that such loans carry hidden costs that often cripple economies rather than strengthen them. Multilateral lenders such as the IMF and World Bank continue to play a central role in Africa by providing concessional loans that are relatively affordable and long-term. Elobi warns that their hidden cost often outweighs the benefits. Temisokwe Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
And now moving to the global scenes, the UK government plans to house hundreds of asylum seekers in military barracks as part of efforts to end the costly use of hotels, which have drawn public criticisms and cost billions. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has ordered officials to fast-track the use of two sites, Cameron Barracks in Inverness and Crowborough Training Camp in East Sussex, to accommodate about 900 men by next month. The move follows a Home Affairs Committee report condemning flawed contracts and incompetent delivery that led to hotel reliance, with costs rising to 15 billion euros. Starmer said he is determined to close all asylum hotels, blaming the previous government for the crisis, while additional disused and industrial sites are being considered to reduce pressure on communities. And now moving into the world of sport, Nigerian women's U17 team, the Flamingos, will face a formidable Italian side in the round of 16 at the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup in Morocco on Tuesday today, with a place in the quarterfinals on the line. Punch Sports Extra Sports. The encounter is set for pitch 2 of the Football Academy Mohammed V1 in Rabat and promises to be one of the most intriguing fixtures of the knockout stage. This will be the first ever meeting between the two nations at this level. Italy, who have been one of the tournament's most impressive teams, qualified as A group leaders after a flawless run of 3 straight victories, a thrilling 4-3 win over Brazil, a 3-1 triumph over host Morocco, and a convincing 3-0 victory over Costa Rica. Led by informed striker Giulia Galli, the tournament's top scorer with 5 goals. The Italians have shown attacking flair and defensive discipline in equal measure, making them strong favourites heading into the tie. And that's the size of the news package for the afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Harmony Agbafo, and we'll bring you more details shortly.